Hey guys, Skilled Legend here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I kind of think needs to be talked about. It's a little bit about what I actually don't like about Sun and Moon. And this isn't going to be something about the animations or the art style or anything like that, because I've already done discussion videos about that, and I really do like the style. But there's two main things that I really don't like about Sun and Moon. And surprisingly enough, this has nothing really to do with just Amore shipping. This has, and Serena not being in Alola, at least at the moment. Most of it just has to do with things that, I mean, I guess it would kind of have to do with Serena since she's was a character, but at the same time, it's kind of off the beaten path. But anyways, so the first thing that kind of bothers me about Sun and Moon is the location that they chose. Now I know that this is something that they've talked about forever, and I'm not saying that I don't like Hawaii. Hawaii is actually a really cool place. I've been there a couple of times, and it's amazing. And like I have nothing against the place. It is also a great place to go after Kalos if they would have followed the storyline with Serena more. But even without it, it's still a great follow up to Kalos being the region of love in Europe, and then having the region of love in um, the United States. But that's just the problem. The thing that I really liked about the Kalos region was the fact that it was something completely different. Every game up to this point has either been about Japan or the United States. And the Kalos region took that and changed it completely. And we finally got a region that wasn't based around the two major parts of the world that Pokemon, really blew up in before the rest of the world. And I understand why they do it, but it would still be nice to, because that's the thing though. Like Pokemon is really good about having these really great places, but showing the historical side as well. I mean, there were pictures from Masuda's blog, if you look at it a couple years ago, of places that were in the Pokemon X and Y game that were real places in real life in France. And it was just amazing that they put all these places that you would have never thought of if you didn't actually play the games or even take the time to check that out. And so it would be cool if they would explore some other regions of the world other than just the United States and Hawaii. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with their choice in this game, because Hawaii is the United States and Japan, kind of combined. And I wish they would have done something a little different, like maybe a place in Africa, or even just continue more of Europe, because, like the rest of the world enjoys Pokemon just as much as the United States and Japan. So why not continue these different regions where, there's a lot of history and stuff that they could continue on. And plus, they didn't really even need to move away from Kalos because they never even finished the storyline of Kalos. It would be nice if they finished that storyline. Even the game didn't finish the storyline. There was so much more that they just didn't describe about, um, like the legendary Pokemon that could have been described in better ways, and they just never finished it. And it would have been nice if they actually finished those storylines. And it was even worse in the anime, but I'm not even gonna go there with that. But anyways, the other thing that really annoys me about Sun and Moon in the anime is that, so we got new characters, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I've had my discussion about why I think that the old characters should get more time, but I'm also okay with new characters. But here's the thing that bugs me. It's when they give us new characters that are completely meaningless to the story. Now, here's where I'm gonna say, if you haven't played the game, you might just want to leave. I won't blame you for cutting off this part of the video and just stopping here, because this is going to contain some spoilers from the game. It's not like anything completely significant, but it is going to detail some of the things from the game and why I dislike the anime. But anyways, so back in the very beginning, we had Brock and Misty, right? Well, we had Brock and Misty, but they were two just gym leaders. And there's nothing really significant about that because like they were just the characters that we got to know and got to love because Pokemon was brand new and it was a new idea, it was a new craze, and it was great. But then we got a new generation of people. And one of the questions that I always get asked is why do people love the female companions so much and they don't want to get rid of them? And the answer is simple because people can relate to the female protagonists. I mean, every year they've had a new game. They have the female protagonist in the game and then the female protagonist in the anime. It's been that since Misty left. We've had May, we've had Dawn, we've had I mean, I guess we didn't have Lyra, but that's kind of a different story because Misty was still there. But and then we had Serena, and Iris was another exception. And guess what? Iris was not very popular among fans. And neither are most of the male traveling companions except for Brock. But I already explained why Brock was popular, but why are the other male companions not popular? Because people don't get to know them. These characters are meaningless to us because they're gym leaders that we don't care about because in the games we see them for, one gym battle, they have no emotion, and then we go off to the next gym or we go off and do the next part of the game. Why would we care about those characters? But the thing is with the female protagonist, some people play as the female protagonist. And if you're not playing as the female protagonist, they interact with you throughout the whole game. So yeah, they're going to be memorable and they're going to be something that people like within the anime because they can assign emotions and like thoughts to those characters. Whereas a gym leader who you see once, you beat him and then he says something witty, he or she says something witty and then never comes back, we don't care about them. Why would we care about them? And the same thing goes with probably one of the reasons why people didn't like Iris. She was a gym leader and then she was the champion of the Unova region, but she was never in our face all the time. We never really got to see her outside of those moments. And that's why I think that this is why I don't like the Sun and Moon anime. And so here comes the part where I said that there was going to be spoilers, so I guess you can leave now. Sorry, I kind of give you a warning, but way too early. But the characters in this are just trial leaders, or in this case, quote-unquote gym leaders. Everyone in this story, for the Sun and Moon anime, except for Lily, is just a quote-unquote gym leader. We have no reason to love these characters. Because we see them once, we talk to them, we do their trial, and then boom, they're gone. Why would I care about those characters? Why should I care about those characters? The only person I should care about is Lily because she's throughout the whole game story. And again, another thing is they completely took out, at least at this point in time, they completely took out the female protagonist from the storyline of the anime. That was the only thing that pretty much made the anime kind of decent, was because we had a character that we could relate to because we could play as that character. We could be like, my gosh, I acted that way when I played, quote unquote. My Dawn was exactly like the Dawn in the anime. Oh my gosh, I started out with Piplup. Oh my gosh, I started out with these Pokemon too. Oh my gosh, I act like that when I'm playing the game too. We could relate to those characters because we were playing as those characters. And that's also another reason why I get so disappointed when they don't put other characters in there. Yes, I know that we've grown to love Ash, and Ash should be a part of the storyline unless they reboot it. But think about it. What if they had Brendan as one of his companions, or one of the other male trainer counterparts? The story would be so much better because people could relate to those characters too. But they never end up in the story. Or if they do end up in the story, they're part of a movie and only show up in a cameo at the beginning of the movie, which is just silly. Why not have those people be Ash's companions? Why can't Brendan or Lucas or someone else be one of Ash's traveling companions and be his rival as well. It would just make so much of a greater story because we can actually relate to his character. Just like we related from playing Red to Ash when we were little. That's probably one of the biggest reasons that the Pokemon anime was so successful, is because we could relate ourselves to Ash from Red because they looked similar, and we played as them, and we grew to love that character, and then we grew to love Ash. But that's gone now because every character, male character, is Ash. They took out the female protagonist from the game, or I'm sorry, from the anime, at least at this moment, since we haven't seen her in any of the promotional stuff or any of the anime stuff. And then also they give us 4 characters that are trial captains that we see once in the game and then never see again. And the only character that we can semi care about is Lily. And that is why I really wanted Serena to return. And that's also why I really like the characters like Serena and like Dawn, and why people like female characters of the Pokemon franchise so much, and why they continue to want them to come back, is because they can relate to those characters because they spent however long, 1 to 3 years or 2 to 3 months, or whatever, how much they spent on the XY game or the Diamond and Pearl game, how much time they spent on it because they played as that character, or they got to know that character because they were playing as the rival or whatever to her. Like, you get to know these characters, and then you get to know them in the anime, whether you played as them or they were your rival. So, I mean, it makes sense that the people love these characters. But now, what are we supposed to love? Just Lily and Ash? I mean, yeah, I could give the other characters a chance, but I just don't have any reason to actually like them. Because we don't actually get to know them more than, their trial. It's not like they follow us around in the game and be like, oh, there's no reason to. There's no emotional reason to care about these characters at all. And that's what frustrates me, is that you would think that they would figure this out and be like, okay, so we should have Elio as one of Ash's companions because he's the game protagonist and people are going to play as him. And we should have Celine or Serena return and have her follow Ash on his journey or his Pokemon School adventures. And people can relate to that. And, like, have this character come back or make a new character or have one of the characters from the game show up, like that, shows up regularly, like How, or seriously, the only characters that we could care about in Sun and Moon are Professor Quaquaye, sorry for butchering his name, and Lily, or Gladion, or Lusamine. Those are literally the only characters we can care about because we see them more than once in the game. But they're not even in the anime yet, except for the Professor and Lily. So, like, I'm really confused, and I really just am kind of disappointed because they went the complete opposite direction that I thought they were going to go. I mean, heck, at this point I would even just be okay with Celine being in the anime, because at least it would be someone that we could care about because she's actually, in the game. And that's another thing that kind of disappointed me. She's not anywhere, like, the other person is not in the game at all. Like, if you play as the male, the female's not there. If you're the female, the male's not there. Like, that was one of the best parts of the interaction, and that's one of the best reasons that we started to care about characters in the first place, whether they were in the game or the anime. But now that whole interaction is just gone. And it's really frustrating. I mean, yeah, the game is good, but I mean, the game is exceptional. I mean, I really do like it and I'm enjoying it, but it's just frustrating to see all this stuff happen because this is just what you would call semi-bad writing. It's like taking a character and then saying, oh, here's your job, but not giving it a description or, any training of what the job is supposed to be. It just seems out there and outlandish and silly. Like you want characters that people care about, but for the last ever since Brock left, no one's cared about the male characters or the characters that are not the protagonists in the game because we have no reason to. Why do we care about some random gym leader that we see once? And I know I've said this a million times already in this video, but I want that to sink into people. Why would I care about this trial leader? Or this trial captain? Why do I care about this random fat kid who invents things? Why do I care about this random girl who's quirky and a cook? Like, I have no reason to care about these characters because they're one and done. And that's what frustrates me the most. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Like, is this a real problem? Should they be using characters that we actually get to interact with? Like Lily and Serena and Dawn and, Brendan and those characters that we got to know throughout the games? Or should they introduce these new characters? Do you like this idea of having these one-time game